Hello, welcome back to Dev Savara. My name is Peter. This is the studio. Some like to call me AI Pete. I'm not AI driven. I am a real person. I think, yeah, real person. And I'm here to talk to you about video games development, and what can happen, I guess, on the other side of it. Now, since I worked in video games for about 13 years, I know a lot of people that did really well. I did okay, not as well as some, but I did a lot better than others. And probably why I will never go back into making video games again, although some part of me still has that creative, feeling of creating something. But I'll tell you what other outlet I used in terms of being able to create something that I felt a little bit more passionate about and got more rewards. But let's start at the beginning. So I worked on video games from the age of about 14, 15. I really dove into it. I made some little games like, what did I make? I made like a little war simulator, like a little strategy game. I then made like a little flight sim in space, like X-Wing. Tried to remake X-Wing versus TIE Fighter at about 17. And then I got into the real video games industry. I started with making platform games, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, I learned a lot about how to make video games. Like even now, looking back at what I did, I'm like, oh, that all makes sense. But now it's like stuff that you still need to learn when you're making video games. That includes things like level design, story, gameplay, especially on platformers like 2D platformers. Also progression, difficulty, those kind of things. So there's a lot that goes to it, and you don't really realize you're learning it as you're building these games. So one of the best games that I made, one of my favorite ones that actually plays really well, was a game made for, I think, Marvel. Was it Marvel? I think so. I'm not sure, but it was the Fantastic Four, but it was like a subset. It was the Silver Surfer, and I was the lead developer on that. And I worked with another artist, a fantastic pixel artist, fantastic, probably the best I've ever seen. Even for that time, that was 2005, somewhere around there. The peak of what I would say would be my game development career. After that, I just don't know what happened. We would make games, and there was never any sense of closure. And I started to kind of explore other things. I got into the music, I got into the festival scene, and I started to spread myself too thin. And I noticed, and it's kind of like this imposter syndrome started to creep in, where I felt I wasn't as smart as some of the other people. I lost a lot of confidence in myself. I would see people writing script systems and 3D systems, the guys that were much younger than me. I'm like, geez, these guys are doing amazing things, and I'm still just like working on 2D platformers. I didn't see the gold for what it was, right? I could have made an amazing platformer game building on top of that Silver Surfer game. Was it Flame On? Flame On, that's right. Flame On, Game Boy Advanced. So if you do want to check it out, check it out. It's a great game. Still today, because good games are good games, right? So I think that lack of confidence and the kind of the pressure of trying to learn new things in the games industry, especially with 3D. I had to learn 3D stuff because I was working on a racing game, and I kind of struggled with this certain scripting systems, and there was this kind of like lack of confidence, and I didn't really want to do it because I didn't feel confident enough to do it. I think that's it. Like I was just like, I spread myself too thin because I was doing festivals and music, and I didn't feel like I had the confidence to achieve this stuff in 3D, even though I had done 3D previously. So it was kind of like this psychological roadblock that I created for myself. And it took me some time to have to shift back. So I dropped all the festival music stuff for a while, focused on making games, and then was able to move on. But by then, I think the damage already been done, and I just lost any kind of interest. Even though I moved to another company working on RPG games, I did some great things there too. But I didn't feel like I was, I didn't have that level of understanding of RPGs that I thought I would. Just because I played them and I enjoyed them doesn't mean I can make them. Whereas platformers, I'd worked on them for like 6-7 years, so I'd become adept, and I didn't really appreciate that probably until very recently. So I worked on RPGs for quite a while, and the team was fantastic, really super smart people, and I kind of, because I was able to focus again and I got back into building things that I was good at, Nintendo platforms and, small embedded systems, And then the iPhone came out, and I was able to build games for that. But I wasn't really that creative. I still had my stories, and I still got a whole stack of stuff like stories and game designs that one day I would make. But by then it was just like was work. I didn't want to keep doing it. I had found a lot of more pleasure and reward in actually creating music events. So with music events, every time we had an event, you would just the reward was immediate. You'd see the event unfold. You had a timeline pressure. You had to get everything done. I was able to organize events for anywhere from like 10 people, like small club shows, 10 people to 50 people to 100 to 1,000 to 5,000, right? Not massive, not like epic festivals, but enough. And I kind of really enjoyed that because the experience was visceral. You could see it, you could smell it, you could see the creation that you really made. A lot more expensive, well, not that much more expensive to do. And I mean, the financial reward was kind of negative in that sense. I lost a shit ton of money the first few years working on clubs and events, but eventually I learned the process after about I think about 8 years. One day I'd love to get back into it. Difficult because a lot of the work at the time wasn't. I work as an engineer now run a few companies. If the funds are there to do it, I would probably create a new brand. I've got some brand ideas, but making video games is like it's time intensive, but not cost intensive. But I don't feel I can get that reward of the satisfaction that you get when you see people having a good time at an event, at a club or a festival. That immediate feedback that go, I'm really enjoying this. It's really cool, really great. Thanks for doing this. So you get that. I missed that, a lot of that. So I think I need that kind of feedback, right? In order to feel like what I'm doing is worth it. And I wasn't getting that in video games, which is sad because there was, I worked at Infinity Plus 2, and that was really like, if I had capped that if I had started maybe earlier, I would have had a better time. So I got burnt out, really, I guess you could say burnt out, and that feeling is, when I get back into making video games is still there. And the lack of reward prevents me from wanting to do it again, which is unfortunate. Because there are still, but I have to say, the people that did do amazing things, and maybe they got they have a different perspective. They've created companies, they've created their own products, and they've maintained them. There is a company called Infinity Plus 2. They made Gems of War. The director is one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. Probably one of the smartest. Incredible guy. Made, like, back in the 80s, he was like the Richard Garriott of Australia, basically. Made music, made RPGs, made his own game, like all of it. Created the Warlords series. And, excellent. Good. He was able to build on his experience and do it himself. And, when I was 17, right at the start of of my career, I had the opportunity either to work for a company or try my own games and release them myself. And I just had no business sense at the time. I'd never thought about business. My family didn't come from, very... Although my dad did run a few businesses, I never really felt I had the education. And it was like, wow, I'm going to work in the games industry. So you kind of like led down this path. And, for what it's worth, I did learn a lot. But, what can I use from my games development experience now? Well, the coding that I did in C, assembly, C++, built the foundation for me to be able to build anything now. Anything from full stack to front end to back end to anything. AI development. I did uni, and they had a lot of. My major was in computational neuroscience, so I know how those things work at a base level. And if I was to pick a book up, I'd get straight back into it. So, that did help me understand the language of code, and it's kind of like unconscious now. So where do we go from here? Well, look, I have to be honest with myself. I don't expect or think I will ever make a video game. And if I had the choice between doing a video game or creating a festival or club event, I would choose festival club event. In the meantime, I've got YouTube. I've got my company that I'm running. I have some incredible clients, and I'm working towards building a brand that helps young people deal with the digital world in a healthy way. It's a new project. We're going to call it Project Little Shield. So there's a lot in the works, and a lot of that is based on, I guess, my experience with developing video games. So that's it for now. That's the story. I guess what the lesson to take out from this is, if you want to make a video game, focus on building video games. Don't spread yourself too thin, and be aware when you're burning out, because it's gonna affect you in the long term, and it may take away from the passion that you have for video games development and coding and all of that. So be mindful of when you're burning out. Guys, thank you for listening. Thanks for being part of this journey, and I'll see you at the next video. Catch ya. Bye.